Hi, I'm Deepika Grover with Grover Mortgage Group.
And I'm Natalie Van Cardo with the Nat Nate Real Estate Team.
Welcome to our new podcast,
Real Estate of Mind,
where we discuss real estate, life, and everything in between.
We're excited for you to follow us and join in on our journey.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. For those of you asking for us to switch up our camera angles a little bit, here you go. Let us know if you like this new camera angle. I know for a bit it was kind of just the same,
Yeah,
background.
it's hard to get creative in like this.
In the studio space.
Yeah.
So we're listening to your feedback. Thank you. But there's only so much we can do, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not good with this stuff either. So like I kind of rely on everybody else to tell me what looks good. So we're going to chat about real estate today, which I'm kind of excited to get back into like our job.
Yeah, totally.
Although we wish podcasting was our job, but yes. So today I had a really fun experience. So every listing I've been going to go see, there's something happening with the lock boxes. Like they're freezing.
Oh, yeah.
So like before I used to have like a de-icer little thing that I would keep in my car just in case, and I would never have to use it. But for some reason this year, they're all frozen and it's always the same style lockbox. So today we show up and there was two lock boxes, one attached to the railing and one just on the ground. Okay, so I called the agent and he was like, oh, like it shouldn't be on the ground. So anyways, the one that was loose was actually the one that we needed. And I had to literally bring it into my car and put it on the heater for it to de-ice because it was so bad. So thank goodness it wasn't attached. And then I had to like reattach it for him. But yeah, so it's been a struggle with this weather to show houses.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And you're saying it's been like that for a while now because it's been so cold.
I would say the last 2 weeks I've been having issues. So I have to go back and get that de-icer thing from like Home Depot or whatever it is. But
I didn't even know that was a thing.
It's a thing. And literally me and my client were talking to him like, I need like a little kit of like all these different tools I need in order to open up a frozen lockbox.
That's crazy.
But I haven't had that issue like in so long because the winters weren't as bad.
I know this winter is crazy.
Yeah. And I think like I want to put like a public service announcement, like that certain lockbox should just be phased out because there's always issues with it. And
is it like an older style?
It's an older style. Like now the ones I use are like the buttons where these ones are still like the turn.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's like we just need to phase those out, guys. But yeah, so it's been an adventure. But it was funny. Like her and I were in my car literally holding it to my heater and like just watching it drip. So like I have to clean up my car. But anyways.
How's your showing though? How are your showings going? I know you've been having a lot of showings recently.
Yeah, we've been having a lot of showings. I think people are just more cautious of what they're buying and they kind of want to wait like for the best possible
opportunity.
Yeah. So like I am doing a lot of showings, but people are just being cautious. But yeah, I think once we get some warmer weather, like I'm ready for warmer weather.
Well, we're getting some snowstorms.
Yeah, I know.
In the next couple of days. So that's fun.
Yeah. So I think potentially this summer or spring will be a better market just because everyone's kind of feeling the effects of being in the cold for too long.
And everyone's sick right now. Literally everyone I call, like all my lenders, all my underwriters, like my deals aren't being picked up in an appropriate amount of time. And I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, oh, we're down with the flu or we're down with like whatever virus. And I'm like, everyone's sick right now.
Yeah.
Like everything's moving very slowly. Like I feel like the entire month of January was just like very slow to begin with. But it's like we're not getting back into like the swing of things. And it's like making me feel anxious.
I felt like both things. So it's going really fast, but also really slow. Like yesterday feels like 2 weeks ago for me.
Oh my God.
Does that make sense?
No.
Like it feels like a week is like 2 weeks ago. Like I just feel like time is lagging.
Yes.
And also moving too fast.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think we're all just in the winter haze.
I mean, February has gone really fast. January was like molasses, okay? Like it wasn't moving.
Yeah.
It's already February, 12th today when we're recording this. It's going so fast.
Yeah.
Like February going really fast, which is good. I'm ready to get into like March, end of March, spring season. I'm ready for, everyone to get back into the swing of things.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of, what are we seeing in the market recently? I've been hearing a bunch of different things from everybody. So what are you seeing specifically?
I'm seeing a combination. So right now we have like a lot of old listings that were kind of in December that are trying to still sell. So either they were put back up or they haven't left the market. So I'm starting to see some offers on the ones that I previously shown come to fruition and they be conditionally sold.
Okay.
So like I have a lot of eyes everywhere with especially people that we have that are thinking about selling this year. We're just kind of watching the pockets. And then for the new inventory coming in, depending on layout and like style, it could be really well received or it's sitting. So again, like it's the same old thing. If you are kind of updated, priced to sell, and show really well, then you're going to do good. Mm-hmm. But if you're kind of trying to test the market and see like how far can I push my listing price, or you don't really have a concrete plan, I think it's not going to serve you well.
And are you seeing a lot of people do condition of financing when they're doing offers right now?
Yeah, that's been
because I'm suggesting that to like all of my clients right now.
Yeah, I have not seen a firm offer.
Okay,
since last
so
year.
it's normal.
Like,
okay,
yeah,
because a lot of my clients are like, well, because my one client like has been looking at houses, but he's like really liked every single one of them, and he's been wanting to go forward with like an aggressive, with an aggressive foot, and I'm just like, doesn't matter. Like, put your condition of financing in.
Yeah.
You never know. Like, banks are being very conservative right now, and I don't want to be stuck with a
and
firm offer.
There's no need right now, unless he is in direct competition with another buyer. There's no need to be aggressive. Like, I think it's kind of understood that you're going to have a condition of financing and inspection. And
but
like,
even
take
in
the time.
I've been hearing with like the really like well-priced houses, there has been some bidding wars. Have
There
you been
has,
seeing that?
yeah. So like I know if you're in like Burlington to Grimsby and you're listed from 900 or less, you're going to have multiple offers because it's just the price point. Mm-hmm. So then yes, that's a different strategy altogether. But again, like you have to kind of see what you're up against. So if you're up against multiples, then maybe yes, dropping a condition is beneficial if you really want the house. But if you're in a different price point where you don't have all these buyers knocking at the door, then take your time. Like you got to kind of figure out what avenue you want to take, and each house poses a different scenario.
I've also been seeing a lot of sellers kind of holding on to this like perfect ideal price that they want for their listing. And like, I feel like they're just making it stay on the market longer.
Yes.
Cause a lot of people can't afford right now. Like interest rates have been going down, thankfully, but people have not recovered from the increase of interest rates, over the past couple of years.
No, and what I have to say, like with sellers, like I'm dealing with one who is thinking about putting their property was previously listed without me, and they've got in contact with me because I did sell something really fast in that pocket, and so I've been working with them, but I find they're not looking at properties within the neighborhood that are selling. They're looking at like the entire city, or like, why is a property in Burlington more than, or a property in Ajax the same price as mine here? And it's like, there's so many
comparables. Oh my God. Yeah. There's
it's
so many
like
variables.
when you're looking at comparables, you need to look at things directly in your neighborhood and things that are similar square footage, layout, floor plan, like all of those things. And you can't get caught up on like different cities or a different pocket. Like everything is very site specific, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think sellers are kind of overloading or like, what's it called? Ingesting too much information that is not even relevant to their scenario.
And trying to make their own decisions and then just not listening to the professionals, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm dealing with that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like, okay, so what I like to do, and I've said this before on the podcast, if I have a seller, I literally take them out to listings in their neighborhood of their direct competition
that's really smart.
for them to see like, hey, this house has this house has that. So like these are really good learning opportunities for them to get an idea of like, oh, maybe my house isn't worth that number if this house has more upgrades than mine and has gone for a little bit less. So I think you really need to be committed to, yes, I want to make a move, and less committed to the price that you want. Because if you're buying and selling in the same market, you may take a little bit less on your home, but you're going to be saving with the buy.
100%. And we've talked about this so many times, but I feel like people are always just so emotionally attached to their home, and then they put like a greater value on it than somebody else is going to put because they're not emotionally attached to that house, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's the most like, I just want to shake sellers out of it because they are their own demise sometimes. Like they're giving up on a really good potential offer, and then they can move on.
Yeah.
And instead they choose to be stuck in this like emotional whirlwind, and like it's consuming way too much of like this one couple. It's consuming a lot of their time. And it's like, just commit. Let's just do it. Let's get it on and like move on to the next.
And like by not taking a specific offer, like you also have to like account for the opportunity cost, right? Like you might not get another offer. Like it's not like another offer is guaranteed.
Exactly.
You know?
So like when we do get an offer, I always kind of rate the risk for them of like, if I think it's a really good offer for them, I would say like, hey, this is a good opportunity. Again, it's always their choice. Like I'm just guiding them through, but I will flag them and say like, I think you should maybe second guess this one or take a different look and not just pass on it right away, because we could be light on showings. We may be not getting the feedback that we want. So like really lean into your realtor and get their opinion. And then also like get the feedback of showings. I can't tell you how many times I show places and agents do not call me. Or like they have like an automated call thing or like a call center call me and getting feedback. I want to talk to the agents that went through the house to literally get the feedback, because I would say 50% of the time I drum up an offer from talking to an agent, whether their client was interested or not, or their client may be passing on it. And I just talk them into taking our property a second look, and then they bring in an offer.
That's really smart.
Yeah. So it's an untapped or a missed opportunity for a lot of agents that are just not doing it.
Yeah. And it's always like good to have like constructive feedback, right? Like, what did you like about the property? What did you not like about the property? And then, like giving your insight is like, it's easy to convince someone, I feel, especially like if they're on the fence, right?
And then like some sellers want to hear all the feedback and are really receptive to it. Others do not want to hear anything.
I know.
So I still want to know, but I obviously
you just
have
don't
to be
relay it. Like, if you should relay it or not. Yeah.
Right. Because if like, I don't want to hear one more thing that my backyard is whatever. So like, so I'm obviously very choosy, but for me, I need to know, because I need to know what these buyers are thinking and predict kind of where they're going to go.
And what are you seeing right now in terms of like average day on market?
I haven't done a search recently to kind of determine the average day, but I think we're definitely over 30, probably close to 60.
That's still not bad though.
Yeah. Things are not like flying off the market, but again, you have anomalies where you have a really nice property.
Yeah.
It gets listed and sold fairly quickly.
Yeah.
So it really depends.
It depends how well your house shows, right? Because I think right now, would you say it's a balanced market or is there a buyer's market? I know it's for sure not a seller's market.
I think we're trending more to a balanced market. I think it's still in favor of the buyers because there's still a lot of opportunity and a lot of inventory for them. But I feel like closer to spring will be more close to a balanced market once sellers start getting their confidence back.
And then what about in terms of like foreclosures? Like, are you getting any phone calls being like, I need to sell my house like immediately?
Not with me. I know someone in the office has a foreclosure. But I'm glad you actually brought this up, because a lot of people think that they're going to save all this money with a foreclosure, and it's not how it used to be. Like when I started back over 15 years ago, a foreclosure, you could get a really good deal on it, but now they want market value. Like the bank wants market value for the home.
Yeah.
And they want to recap any of their losses as well.
Especially because like they don't have enough, because the market has fallen so much since like the person probably got the mortgage. They don't have enough equity to kind of just sell it for whatever.
Exactly.
They're going to need top dollar to like pay their mortgage off, pay any interest, pay like realtor fees, like all that, right? So
so it's completely different. I don't think we'll ever, my opinion, I don't think we'll ever see where like foreclosures are like this, the magical holy grail back where it used to be.
What it used to be, yeah.
And I know like a lot of people like, oh, I only want to search for foreclosures. It's not a thing anymore.
Yeah, I know. I think I had a client or something that was like, can you hook me up with a realtor that only deals with foreclosures? Like I want a deal. And I'm like, I don't know if you're going to get a deal anymore.
No, you won't.
Same with assignment sales. Like everyone's trying to get a deal on assignment sales.
I feel like you can. Assignments, yes. Like you still can, because some people have over leveraged.
I have a client that over leveraged and is buying 2 properties and was supposed to close last week and can't close on either. So she's just like giving it back to the builder and
Losing her deposit?
losing her deposit, A, and then B, possibility of getting sued. And I made all this very clear to her.
Yeah.
I found her a mortgage solution. She didn't want to go through with it, whatever. That's completely her decision. But yeah, and she was like, I'm still trying to sell it on assignment, but people are like lowballing me. They want a good deal.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, to be fair, like if I was buying on assignment, I would also want a good deal. And I think that's what everybody on assignment expects at the end of the day is like to have a good deal, right?
Yeah, assignment's really cutthroat right now. And I tell like my clients who have bought, unless like you are desperate to sell, close on it because you're going to make more once you close and either rent or sell it out, opposed to getting rid of it now because there's just so many assignments out there. Like there's Facebook groups that are just every day just flooded with assignments.
That's so scary. I have another one coming up. I'm worried about his appraisal because the condo market has fallen so much. I don't even know if his appraisal is going to come back. It's in Mississauga Exchange District. You know that one, like right by Square One. And yeah, he has to close soon. His occupancy fees are so much, $5,000 a month, which is insane. And yeah, he has to close soon. And I'm still in the process of getting his documents, but I'm so worried about his appraisal not coming back.
So I know you work with BMO, and I kind of had a chat with them, but they have a really cool program.
Yeah.
That they do their appraisal right at the time you purchase in new construction. They hold it all the way for 3 years.
RBC does that too.
Yeah.
RBC does. And like so the thing with BMO, I think, I'm not for sure, so don't quote me on this, is if you go there now, they won't give you the purchase price. Yeah, but RBC will. RBC has like a product with a blanket appraisal with a majority of the condo builders. So they will honor the purchase price no matter what, which is how I've gotten a lot of my clients out of like really sticky situations. It's just sending them to RBC and just like trying to get the deal to work there.
Which is
because the
RBC does some weird things.
RBC has like an interesting in with like the government or like, I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, they have a lot of programs that a lot of the other banks just don't have access to.
No, but like when I heard about BMO, I was like, that is like very smart for anybody that's thinking about buying pre-con right now.
So a lot of most banks do that. Like TD does that, CIBC does that. But RBC is the one who you can go at any time and they will honor the purchase price.
That's crazy.
But yeah, they're called builder cap mortgages and most A lenders will do them where you just get the appraisal and the approval and everything done at that time when you purchase it and they will hold it firm for however long.
So the people that you are dealing with obviously did not do that.
They did not do that. And the majority of people don't. Because like I didn't even do it for my condo that I closed last year.
Yeah.
And like I'm in the industry, you just like aren't, most people just aren't proactive in that case. Or you just don't think that far ahead that, I'll probably need it. But I mean, I got lucky.
I need security.
Yeah, I know.
Need secure.
That you're among a very small percentage of people that are actually proactive and get it done like 3 years in advance. Because people are like, like who knows what my financial situation will be? Maybe I'll like get a better deal in 3 years.
No, I'm always like thinking the negative. I'm like, what if everything burns down? And I have nothing. Yeah. So what are you seeing? Because there's a lot that's happening in the mortgage world. So what can you tell us?
Okay, important. What I really want to touch on is I'm getting this question a lot right now because there's a lot of renewals coming up, a record number of renewals this year, 2025, and next year, 2026. Like a 3 million mortgages are coming up for renewal because they all bought in 2020 and 2021, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people are having payment shock. What I really, really, really want to drive home is most people are opting for variable right now just because variable has been decreasing over the past several months. Really important to know, if you go with a variable mortgage, you are not locked into it for the entirety of the 5-year term. You can always switch to a fixed.
Can I repeat it?
Yeah.
So basically, I choose variable today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, there is fixed goes down to like an amount I want. I can say, no, I'm going to switch over.
100%.
Okay.
The only caveat is that the term has to be equal or greater to the remaining term of your variable. So for example, if you a year later, like if you go with a variable right now, next year you're like, I want to go with a fixed, has to be 4 years or greater, the new term, the new fixed term, right? There are some lenders like TD who has a little bit of a different clause in there. And obviously, when you reach out to me or whoever you're working with, they can explain that to you a little bit more. It's a little bit much to get into right now. But across the board with all A lenders, you can always switch from a variable rate mortgage to a fixed rate mortgage at any time, as long as the new fixed term is equal or greater to the remaining term. So that's very important, because a lot of people have anxiety being like, oh no, like, what if the history repeats itself and what happened with variable a couple of years ago happens again? Totally okay. I will, promise to keep an eye out on rates for my clients. And if I think fixed is trending downward and it's a good time to lock in, I'll let you know, and you can call your bank and lock it in.
Yeah, you're very good with that.
Yeah. I try to be, because I know it's a cause of huge anxiety for a lot of people. Another thing is the difference between adjustable rate mortgages and variable rate mortgages. So I really want to drive this home as well.
Okay, you got to break it down.
Okay. So a variable rate mortgage is what some of the big banks offer. TD offers it, BMO offers it, CIBC offers it. Scotiabank offers an adjustable rate mortgage, and a lot of the monoline lenders, so A lenders that are not banks, right? So
give us a name of what a mono lender would be.
Strive, Home Trust A side, RFA A side, Lendwise, Merrick's. There's a bunch of monoline lenders that their only product that they offer is real estate lending.
Okay.
So you can't go there. Like, there's no brick and mortar stores. They don't offer credit cards or investments or anything like that. So they're able to offer these ultra low rates, but they are an A lender, a AAA A lender. Like, there's nothing shady with them. I'm putting a lot of my clients there right now just because they're blowing the banks out of the water with rates, really, really good rates, especially when it comes to variable. But a lot of these monoline lenders, or I would say all of them, offer adjustable rate mortgages, which the difference between the two, adjustable rate means your payment will change with prime. So if prime goes up, your payment will go up. If prime goes down, your payment will go down. Variable rate mortgages, your payment stays the same, regardless of if prime goes up or down, which in the past, when prime was going up, saved a lot of people because their payment didn't change. But the downside of that is their amortizations increased because their entire payment was interest and none of it was going towards principal. I had clients with 100-year amortizations that are just starting to come down now because prime has started to go down. Or the other way to bring it down is to put lump sum payments on your mortgage, or to, double up payments on your mortgage or increase your mortgage payment, which who has the money for that in this economy, Yeah. So in that sense, adjustable rate mortgages are good because they'll ensure that your payment is always on track with your amortization. So if you start with a 25-year amortization, you're going to stay with that no matter what happens to prime. So in this interest rate decreasing economy, your payments will go down every time prime goes down, right? Which is a win-win situation because your payments are already going down. And then say, a year or two from now, you're like, oh, fixed is, at the bottom of where it's going to be. Let me just lock in. So you're already having a low payment, then you're going to have an even lower payment, and then you're going to be fixed for the duration of your term. So that's really important. Another thing I really wanted to drive home, which is adjustable rate mortgages are compounded on a semi-annual frequency versus variable rate mortgages, which are compounded on a monthly
So
frequency.
break that down. Like, what does that mean?
The interest rate is compounded more frequently. So 12 times a year with variable rate mortgages versus twice a year with adjustable rate mortgages. So a way I won a client recently is TD was offering them a lower rate than what I was able to offer them. I ended up matching their rate, but I was like, you're actually going to save money in the long run because your interest is going to be compounded less frequently. So, which means compounding interest means like interest is getting added to interest how many times during the year. So if it's 12 months, your interest is going to be added 12 times versus if it's only two times in the year, it's going to be added less. So you're actually going to be saving how much interest you pay over the term with the adjustable rate mortgage, which is really, really interesting for a lot of people. And I'm sure a lot of people don't know that.
I would
which
overlook
is why,
that.
100%, which is why it's important. We always say, what is it? Marry the house, date the rate or something, right?
Yes. I'm
the rate
firm
is not,
believer of that.
no, the rate is not the most important thing. Yeah, you may
No.
get the lowest number, but there's so many other things you have to think about when it comes to the rate.
Yeah. And so like for me, I think as the realtor, when it comes to like breaking down payments and all of that, it goes over my head.
100%.
I need to speak with you
Yeah.
to like figure out like what's the best option, because there's a lot of lingos that like I don't use every day
Mm-hmm.
where you can kind of see like past what I'm just viewing of like, oh, my monthly rate is this, but like you can kind of see the trajectory of it
100%.
and where I'm going to be saving.
And I have an entire Excel spreadsheet that I made, which breaks down like different options of like if you have a variable rate versus if you have an adjustable rate versus if you're getting cash back from your bank, like, you know, because some lenders offer cash back and some lenders don't.
Mm-hmm.
I have a whole spreadsheet. I'm very passionate about this kind of stuff because I want to make sure that people are kind of out of this mentality that, oh, I just want the lowest rate. It's like, no, there's so much more goes into it.
Can we make a motion that this year is about learning and like educating yourself,
financial literacy,
with financing and with real estate, because I'm finding I'm having the exact same conversations over and over again, and not to put shade to the public, but they're kind of taking this side of media and not what's actually really happening.
So true.
In the market.
So true.
And it's like, I just want to shake people because like, if you actually see what I'm seeing daily, it is completely contradictory to what you're bringing to my table.
Yeah.
And like, I do my best to educate them, but I feel like there's until the media kind of matches it.
That's what I'm saying. There's only so much you can do, right? Because they're like, oh, whatever Natalie is saying, but this is what the news is saying. Like, why would we listen to Natalie over what the news is saying?
Yeah. And like, our
it's
stats
like
will be
an
different.
uphill battle.
And then they'll have like, oh, one house in here went over like whatever. Like, it'll be like a trigger warning headline, and then what we're actually seeing is completely different. So like they take one thing and they blow it up, has nothing to do with what's happening. And I find like the same thing with finance.
There's
like
a lot of fear
same.
mongering. There's a lot of fear mongering.
Yeah. So like, can we all just educate, talk to
professionals? Yeah.
Pick our brains.
And we're
like,
not saying like we're always right either. Like there's like I'm constantly learning, right? Like
100%.
And so are you. Like we're all constantly learning. Like we're not perfect either, but I just think that you take everything that you hear from the media with a grain of salt, kind of step back from it, form your own opinion. There's no more forming of your own opinions. And we talked about this on a previous episode as well. Like we don't make our own opinions anymore. Like we're so laser focused on social media and what everybody else is telling us that like sometimes I find myself falling victim to this too, where I'm like, I just believe what somebody says. And then thank God, like I have my brothers who be like, Deepika, did you do your own research on this? Or are you just blindly believing what someone else is saying?
Or like how many times
I
don't read a headline in my feed and I'm like, oh, this happened. And then somebody like, actually, no, it didn't. I'm like, oh, I just fell trapped to that.
100%. Clickbait. Yeah. It's all clickbait.
So, I think with the other thing with you, like, especially if someone's coming from a bank and just like the extra knowledge that you bring that they don't have privy to, or that they're not privy to, that you kind of are sharing with your clients is really needed right now.
Yeah, like I just had a client who went to a bank and they were doing an insured mortgage, which is they were putting down less than 20% down, which means their loan to value was over 80%. And the bank was like, oh, yeah, we can get you a home equity line of credit. And the client comes to me and they're like, well, does your lender offer a home equity line of credit? And I'm like, no, and neither does yours, because that product does not exist in the market. You cannot have a home equity line of credit if your loan to value is over 80%. It just doesn't exist. And she was like, oh, I didn't know that. And I'm like, why would you? Like, they're obviously not going to explain this to you because they're just trying to take your business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, like I'm commissioned too, but at the end of the day, like I will always find a solution that best fits my client's needs. Like I'm not just going to put you in something random and then be like,
these are the product lines that we have and that's it.
Yeah.
Where you're actually searching everywhere for the best tailored product for your clients.
Yeah. And like I have access to A lenders, I have access to B lenders, I have access to private lenders. Like I have access to every lender in the market to ensure that you are going to find a solution.
I also think it needs to be said here that if you are working with a mortgage broker that is not attached to a bank, they do have access to a lending. A lot of people think that you are just B and private.
Literally, this happened to me yesterday. So I have a client who's has a rental property, and now the tenant wishes to purchase that rental property. So the client is like, okay, here, reach out to Deepika. Like, she secured my mortgage. She'll help you out. So he reached out to me, and I was like, okay, provide me with these documents. It's looking like it's going to be B lending based on your income, but let's see if we can do something with A lending. Don't hear back from him, crickets. So I reached out to my client, and I'm like, hey, is your tenant interested? And he's like, yeah. He's like, he's letting his dad take the lead on this one, and his dad wants to go to TD and ask them questions, even though I told him that you also work with TD directly, and they can ask you as like a one-stop shop, but they just want to go to the bank. And I'm like, of course, because there's a stigma. Again, that we don't deal with banks. We only deal with B lending, or, there's something in it for us at the end of the day, and going into a bank is cleaner and all this, that, and the other, but it's not like that.
So like for someone who I work with mortgage brokers, like when we did our mortgage, and when I went, so I went with a bank, but through a broker.
Yeah.
And I had to go to the branch to sign the documents. The person at the branch had no idea what
was going on.
What was going on? Nothing. I was asking like questions, and they were kind of looking at me like they had no clue. I'm like, I'm here signing a document for you guys.
Yeah.
And you can't answer any of the questions that I'm asking. So I literally had to get my mortgage broker on the phone and be like, hey, and then she explained everything to us. But it's like, you don't even know your own product.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? They don't have to be licensed. And I am not talking poorly about anybody at the bank. I have tons of friends that work at the bank. I came from the bank, right?
Yes.
But it's just like, now that I'm in the broker world, I can see the difference between our knowledge level and their knowledge level. But then it also depends on the person, because some people are very like highly educated. Like, I have friends that work at the bank that know everything about their bank's product, like everything.
Yeah.
Right? But then there's some that just don't. At the branch level, it's very, very limited knowledge. Very limited knowledge.
It goes back to like, how professional do you want to be? Like, how much do you want to give to your business? And we see it in any industry.
Yeah.
But I find it's really frustrating for us, because we're so convoluted that we kind of have these bad seeds within it.
Yeah.
Where we kind of want to like break away from them and like, so we're not like that.
I know. And I was going to say that like brokers get a bad rep for a reason. And I work with a lot of brokers. And like, I get it. There's a lot of, shady things that go on in the market. But yeah, like what we're really trying to drive home is that not everybody is like that. And we're not like that.
Not everybody's like that. We've all had experience with it, so we can like sympathize.
Yeah.
And the main thing that we strive to do is educate the people we work with. Like I just want you to have all the information, think about it, and then we can have discussions, and then you make the best decision, because I'm not you. I don't know. Like, I can guess what I think you need, but at the end of the day, you guys know.
Yeah.
So I'm here to here's all the info.
Yeah.
I will support and guide you through it, that's my job. But yeah.
No, and at the end of the day, also, like, it's very important to work with a realtor who also is knowledgeable and cares about you, because I just got a call from that same client who's closing on the condo, and we're not sure if the appraisal is going to come back. And he's like, my realtor like kind of swindled me into this. He's like, I feel swindled. He's like, nothing was explained to me. I didn't know if this was like a good financial situation. And he's like, I kind of just bought it, and now I'm stuck. Like, I didn't read all the fine print because I just trusted the realtor kind of thing. Right. So your job is also very important. And there's a lot of realtors that don't do what you do. Like, even just hearing your stories of how you help your clients and go through the 100-page pre-construction agreement.
Nobody does that. It's
Nobody does that, but you actually go ahead and go above and beyond and do that. And that's the difference between having somebody who just wants to make a commission and somebody who actually cares about if your closing is going to go forward.
Yeah. So it was funny. I got interviewed like for a listing, and the conversation was about how she was calling all these different agents, and one of the agents just said to her, like, how low are you going to take? Like, what's the bottom line that you're going to take for your house?
Oh, God.
And like, they hadn't even seen the house, and he's already just saying, like, what's the lowest that you're going to take? And like, that's his strategy. And I said to her, like, That's cute. I don't even want to know what your bottom line is because my job is to get you
as much as I can.
the highest amount of money.
I think, is it a male?
Yeah.
I think I know who you're talking about.
You do?
Well, is he like a big real estate
I
person?
don't know.
Okay.
I didn't ask the name because I just like, I don't want to know who it is.
The same thing happened when we were selling my parents' house back in 2020. We also like had a bunch of realtors come over and just like assess what they thought it was going to sell for.
Yeah.
And one of the realtors was like, yeah, I think it's going to sell for this much, like the very, very bottom of like what we were expecting. And we're like, why? Just so you can make an easy sale? Because you know it's going to be easy to sell at this point.
What it is.
Right?
Yeah.
But okay, what I don't understand about that strategy is like, realtors make and we do too, we make a percentage of like the sale amount or the purchase amount. So wouldn't you want it to be as high as possible so you make more money?
No. A lot of agents, and I'm going to say teams, like there's a specific prominent team in our area that I'm not even, like I don't know how they get as many listings as they do. I do know how, and it's just not how I want to do business. But it is just to sell quick, to say, oh, we sell X amount of properties a month. We just do all this fast deals. And if you talk to the clients afterwards, they're not satisfied.
So then why do they go with them?
Because they have a prominent name. So people get like swindled in to like, oh, like this person can do it. This team can do it.
But then they must not get any referrals.
They also last, like, especially in our area, the signs are up for a very long time because there's no good marketing in place other than the initial that they have a name already. Like, that's it. So it's just very interesting. And like, even when you see like
so bad.
The time, there's a specific house in our pocket. Like the time that they listed, I was telling these people, like, I wouldn't even tell you to list at that time because you're just going to have days on market. It was like right before Christmas.
Nobody's
They just wanted the listing. They're not looking out for your benefit that lots of people for 2 weeks are probably not going to look at your house and you're just adding days on market. Like strategy wise, they're not implementing anything. They just want their for sale sign up and as many listings as possible. So you really need to like pick the brain of the agent that you're wanting to interview and like see what are you going to do for me other than your name, because unfortunately I don't think that really sells properties. It just gives you brand awareness.
I was just going to say that I think instead of going with the bigger names, people need to start working with like smaller or like less known agents or like more boutique agents that actually care about the property and will put the time into the property.
I consider myself a boutique style.
Yeah.
Just because I want to have that one-on-one connection with them. I want to invest as much time. And I know I have like a max amount of listings that I can personally take on.
Exactly.
And I don't like, if I get to the threshold, then okay, I'm going to bring other people in. But it's like, I know my top limit of to give the amount of care and service that I need to everybody. And that's how I'm going to do my business.
And people, like when you list something, like your client's going to be talking to you. They're not going to be talking to you like your assistant. They're not going to be talking to like AI. They're going to be talking to you.
No, I'm going to pick up. And if I don't pick up, I'm going to call you right back. And like, if you message me at obscene hours of the day, I'm most likely going to answer for you if I'm awake. You know what I mean? Or like when I wake up. Like this morning, my client sends me a message. Hey, can you ask this question for them? I'm like, yeah, sure. Like I was getting ready. I answered it right away. The other agents, I can't even get a hold of them. Or the other thing that drives me nuts, their phone number is not on the listing. So I have to page the office, wait for them to call me back, which could be days.
Yeah,
I'm like,
but why do they do that? Like, don't they want the business?
For me, like, I want to sell your house for the most money in the shortest amount of time.
Yeah.
And like, I need to be accessible to do that.
Yeah. So definitely good things to know when you're looking out for a realtor is, like I would say.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't know this thing. Like I would easily get swindled into going with the biggest name too. Because I'd be like, oh, they have the most, people know them, brand awareness, all that kind of stuff. Like you're so right.
Yeah, we have 20 listings right now. Cool.
How many are you
days
selling?
on market are they?
Yeah, how many are you actually selling? No, it's so true.
Like,
people don't think about this.
No,
I wouldn't have thought about
don't.
this either if I wasn't in the industry.
Yeah, I'm just very skeptical. And like, I think it started like when I was young, we had a very prominent agent who's still prominent sell our house. And like, it was, oh, this agent selling our house. I'm like, this guy did nothing. And as a kid, I'm like, I realize this. So I'm like,
you're like, when I become a realtor when I'm older, I'm going to do.
That was not in my train of thought, but I'm just like, I'm not a big thing of like names. That's my thing.
No, that's honestly really, really good because I think a lot of people get, thrown into that and then they regret it after. But that's crazy that
Yeah, like what's
they're
the
not
lowest you're gonna
satisfied.
take?
And then they're not going to get any referrals. Like referrals are the backbone of our business. Like I survive off of referrals. I don't really do any paid marketing.
No, it's referral based.
And referral base is the best, right? Like they're warm leads, hot leads. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep.
That's what I mean. Like there's certain ways that people run their businesses where I'm just like, I could just never, like I need to sleep at night at the end of the day. Like I want to make sure I did it good by my client.
Yeah. I don't know. Like their stress is my stress. Yeah. Until like they're all settled, then I can calm down. But yeah, it's interesting. So educate yourself.
Make your own decisions, form your own opinions. Don't just go with what the herd is doing. Please, for everybody, I urge with all your mortgage renewals coming up. There's a lot of exciting things happening in the market right now with banks. So for everybody who's coming up for renewal right now, whether you have an insured mortgage or an uninsured mortgage, no stress test when you're shopping around at different banks. So make sure you shop around. A lot of banks are offering cash back right now, which will cover, legal fees, appraisals, all that kind of stuff. Don't think you are, backed into a corner and just have to stay with your own bank. Sometimes it does make the most sense to stay with your own bank. Don't get me wrong. I've actually advised a lot of clients to just stay with their own bank, but you're not backed into a corner. There's no stress test, meaning it's easier to get qualified with different lenders right now. Make sure that you are going with an interest rate and a term, which is the number of years that you have that interest rate for, that aligns with your needs. Not your neighbor's needs, not your friend's needs, not what your parents are telling you, with your needs. If you are thinking that this is not your forever home and you are going to sell it within the next 3 to 5 years, go with a 5-year variable. If you are a little bit more risk averse and don't want to take the risk, go with a 3-year fixed, but just make your own decisions. Don't just do what everybody else is doing.
And like, don't be afraid to ask questions. Like if you don't understand something, because I find like we can get caught up in our lingo. And like some people are kind of looking glazed face of like, what are you even saying? So if the person you're working with is not picking up that you're not understanding, like ask the questions. Because I know I love being asked questions. I know you
I
do.
love being,
Yeah, there's no like silly question. And like if you're getting caught up on something that you think you know the understanding of, but you like, it's not clear, like ask. And like, I have no problem explaining it. Are very good at it.
I love explaining things. The favorite part of this job and why I got into this job is because I love personal finance. I love financial literacy. I love educating people on this stuff. It's the biggest purchase you're going to make in your life. You need to know the ins and outs of it. Like whenever I have a first-time home buyer, I just finalized a deal last week for a first-time home buyer that's closing next week. She asked me so many questions and I'm like, keep them coming. Like I want you to know everything about your mortgage because I don't want you to like at the end of this transaction be like, oh, I got swindled, or oh, I don't know about this, or oh, my mortgage broker didn't explain this to me.
And when they have more knowledge, like they are more empowered. And I think that's like what we're striving for everybody is like we want to empower you to make the decisions and like the financial choices that you have. So yeah, like that's important.
So important. So important. And yeah, that's the energy we're taking into 2025 and beyond.
Knowledge. The word of right now is knowledge.
All right, everyone. Well, that's all we have on the docket for you today. Hope you enjoyed this. A little bit of a break from all the interviews that we've been doing and talking about the market.
Next one is going to be fantastic.
The next one after this is going to be really fun. She's a financial psychologist.
Yeah, she's very interesting. All I can say is, listen to it.
Everybody, we urge must listen to that episode. It's really, really, really life-changing. A lot of things that we never took into consideration about money and psychology. I didn't even know those two things were connected, but they are. So really cool episode coming up for you guys. And another thing, if we can request everybody, we have a lot of listeners of this podcast, but not everybody has rated the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Please, if you could do that, that would be really helpful for us.
Yes, like and share. And as always, we're here for all your real estate and mortgage needs. So feel free to reach out any way we can help.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
See ya.